Hey guys, Infinite Combo here. E3 just happened, as it does every single year, and there's been a lot of game releases and a lot to talk about in one video. So we're going to split this up, right? We're not going to bombard you with everything at once, because even that's too much for us at this point.
Yeah, it'd probably be about an hour's worth of content, and I don't know that anyone wants to listen to us for an hour, so we'll split
Not
it
an
up
hour
a little
straight,
bit.
anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you guys get tired of me after like 15 minutes. I can't imagine.
Give you guys little breaks.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we'll kind of start with, we're just going to go conference in order. So I think for this video, we're going to do EA and Bethesda, which were on Sunday night. And then we'll do the rest of them on different videos. So,
yeah. So we got EA, and we're kind of picking out the notables here. So the only real notable from EA, as you point out, was Battlefield was announced, which we all knew. A bunch of sports games, basically.
Yeah, mostly stuff that we don't really care about, so we're not going to really focus on that.
Yeah, if you like it, that's cool.
The only real game of note EA really did that any of us care about is me, which is Mass Effect. So obviously, I'm a little excited about that.
It's really more Rob Effect, I guess.
Yeah,
it's okay though. So, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be good. I mean, granted, I love Mass Effect, so it's not going to matter.
No biased opinions here
no
whatsoever.
biased opinions here at all.
No,
just judging from the trailer they showed, they showed a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff. Humanity sends something to the Andromeda Galaxy. Of course, it has to go through dark space. Who knows how long it takes to get there. We don't even know when this is set, whether it's originally, during the original trilogy, way after, way before. Just from the sounds of the trailer, humanity is in need of survival, so they send someone to... They send a ship to Andromeda. I'm guessing at the last section of the trailer, a woman wakes up and says, "We made it." I'm guessing that's the beginning of it, but they do show some familiar alien species in the trailer. You get to see some Krogans, some Asari. Judging from the trailer, I think instead of using a male main character in all the marketing materials, they're going to use female main character. I think they did confirm that the
you can change genders, of course, and stuff like that,
and that the last name of the character is Ryder.
Okay,
which is interesting because Shepard was named after the first American male in space, Alan Shepard, I think.
Okay,
and
Ryder's named after the first female in space.
Yeah. Which was
Sally Ride.
Sally Ride.
There we go.
The first American female in space.
All right, so we're bouncing back and forth, showing some love to both sides on that.
Yep, so that ought to be interesting.
And I think a lot of the fan base will also find it appropriate just because, whenever I talk to people who play Mass Effect, it's always, I'm all about female Shepard, and there's a large sect of the fandom that seems to prefer to play as FemShep. So it's kind of interesting that they're kind of switching and focusing...
I love that term.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're kind of switching to a primarily female character.
Yeah.
I think it's also interesting because as far as I know, the original Mass Effect series, the story and the lines were kind of written from a male perspective because Shepard was, first and foremost, a male character that you could make female instead.
Right.
So I'm kind of interested to see what will happen narratively if they're starting with a base female character who has the option to be male instead. Will that affect kind of the direction of the narrative and story?
I mean, with as much hype as Mass Effect games have gotten in the past, and as much, crazy exposures they gotten, I'm actually kind of hoping that they're going to be able to go, all right, well, if you pick a male character, the game's going to know that, and here's your male dialogue tree for the whole game. But if you pick a female character, here's what the female the female version of Ryder would say.
So depending on the gender, different.
Exactly. Maybe it'll even it out, so it's not so you won't have, because I can understand it being awkward, playing a male character turning him female, because you can in the custom character creation, and then hearing the line that's I think a woman have a different perspective on that. I think it might also work the other way. It's that line doesn't work so well for a guy. It works better for a woman kind of perspective. So maybe if you can flip them, if you can get an even playing field, it'd be kind of neat.
But at the same time, I think it's also valuable to acknowledge that neither men nor women are monoliths who all hold the same views on things.
Right.
And, it's possible for a male and a man and a woman to react to the same situation the same way. So it's kind of I think it'll be interesting to see how they kind of
toe the line with that and kind of see how it goes.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting that they said that they were trying to go for a more, and this wasn't in the trailer or anything, but they said that they were going for a more like organic approach to romance, because that's obviously like a big component of Mass Effect. I haven't played the games myself, but
a lot of BioWare games in general, you can romance a ton of characters.
Yeah,
that's always the
basically
thing.
That's a big BioWare thing. So.
And BioWare has kind of admitted that their past approach has been on the formulaic side, and they're trying to make it more natural of like how you would actually develop a relationship with another person instead of it just being kind of like, I gotta say this right line right here in order to proceed to the next level of our relationship.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, that was really the only thing at the EA conference that really mattered to any of us. None of us really play sports games. This one might play a little bit of Battlefield, but
Battlefield 1, it does look cool. I've played the older ones, and I like them just how big they get. You don't really get that. Everyone else seems like this little contained arena. This is like, I'm just going to go over here and check this out, and I can snipe everyone. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
But it's been done so many times. I'm just kind of over it at this point.
All right.
So, the next thing we're going to talk about in this video is Bethesda's conference.
Ever since Bethesda brought back Doom, I've been, watching them like a hawk and then realizing, oh yeah, they have id Software, and then they announced Quake's coming back.
Yeah, that was kind of the way they started off their conference, was just, they kind of just showed this trailer, not, looked interesting. It was like, alright, well, what is this? It looked fast-paced, the guns looked interesting. And then you just see the big Q at the end, and just you could hear the crowd kind of explode with. So Quake is one of the original arena shooters.
And if you haven't played it, go out and get like an old version of it. It still holds up. It's still very much fun.
Yeah, they're great games. They're great shooters. Fun fact: the speedrunning community began on Quake.
Oh yeah, the single player Quake runs.
Single player Quake 1 was the original speed game with the speedrunning community. So, but all they gave was a trailer. There was no gameplay, no semblance of what could be gameplay, whereas like on the Mass Effect trailer, you could kind of see parts that looked like it was supposed to be gameplay. In this case, it was literally just a trailer. It was just a trailer, and it looked almost like a 2-on-2 type deal. Each character was a little different. I'm guessing it's supposed to play like, each of the individual characters has their own sets of abilities, sets of weapons.
So, the classes, I feel like, seem like they're really just there to cater to different styles of play.
Exactly.
But not to be like, okay, let's figure out what the best possible team composition is. And
I'm sure the game will still have typical deathmatch, team deathmatch, stuff like that. I think Bethesda said they were going to try to support it with, tournaments, stuff like that. Because typically they only have one tournament a year at QuakeCon for Quake Live. So they were kind of looking to branch out and do more with this one. So that'll be interesting, which means I think they're just kind of want to keep the shooting as the main part. I don't think they want to muddy it up with as many objectives. That's what Quake was. It was just
you might have
deathmatches.
Exactly. Deathmatch, team deathmatch, king, and then maybe something else sprinkled in there.
Yeah. And did the trailer announce any kind of like ballpark release window, or is it just
Nope.
So this is like obviously like a brand new project.
Probably very early in development.
Yeah.
So far, only announced platform is PC. No console yet is on there. So
they did they did do the multi-platform thing with Doom, which Doom has been multi-platform for a while. So yeah.
Yeah. So that was an interesting way to kind of begin their conference.
Oh yeah.
Was with Quake.
So then what's the next bullet point?
They showed some stuff for a couple games that are already out. They showed some DLC for Doom and for Fallout. Doom kind of showed off some... Bethesda showed off some stuff for Doom. There's going to be some new features for Snap Map coming out. A lot of free content.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to release new multiplayer modes, new stuff for Snap Map. That's all going to be free. And then they also showed off their first premium DLC pack called Unto the Evil. which will have 3 new multiplayer maps. It will have a new playable demon, new weapons, new character customization, stuff like that.
I
seriously got to
New
get back
game
in
modes.
on this.
So the game modes will all be free, but the maps you'll have to pay for. I don't know that I like that, only because most companies now are learning to do all of the maps for free, so you don't divide the community.
Yeah. But I mean, you still have the game modes. It doesn't split the community that much. I mean, like if they had like, oh, here's the premium DLC, and it's going to include these two of the 3 new game types are in the premium with the maps. If you don't have the maps, you don't have the maps, but you can still play the game types. And I think that's the thing, is it's like, oh, maybe the maps are better for it. It might be a way to, like, give people a taste of it. It's a little bit of a money-making scheme, but it's not that terrible by comparison.
It just kind of brings me back to Gears of War 2 of the only DLC maps I ever saw until they instituted every playlist you have to have all the DLC except for, like, these 2 playlists.
Was that Gears 2 or Gears 3?
Gears 2 did that at the very end.
Oh,
they made it so that there was like 2 playlists that you could do without DLC. Gears 2, the only DLC maps we ever really saw for almost the first year and a half of playing that game straight was the flashback map pack that came with the game.
Oh,
those were the only ones we ever saw. So we basically played the 10 launch maps and the 5 flashback maps for a year and a half until they instituted, you need DLC to play these playlists.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that the only thing they're charging you for is the maps and the character customization.
Yeah.
Oh, and the demon, of course. But everything else is free. So if you're a very casual Doom player and you don't want to be on the up and up with the latest and greatest stuff, you can still play the game types for nothing. You can still make all these amazing maps and all these different logic trees, and you can create stuff for people on your friends list and the rest of the community to play for squat. You don't have to pay for a diddly squat of it. That's what I like about it. Yeah. It really caters to a casual, because Doom's not a super competitive game. It's so far out of whack. The balancing gets thrown completely out the window when someone spawns as a demon, but that's the fun part.
Yeah.
So I think it works better for a casual community standpoint.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Cool. I mean, I like the fact that you're able to make your own levels. I kind of forgot that was a thing, because I have not been playing Doom. It's not really my thing. But, I like to kind of see those features in action.
Doom is love. Doom is life. Buy it. That goes for you.
So then they talked about Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout. All right, so Fallout 4. This part, John can attest to my reaction to it. It was kind of like his reaction to Doom last year when.
So when they announced the first one, which is Contraptions, which should be coming out this week.
Apparently, it comes out. They said it comes out next week, so I'm guessing sometime after Sunday.
But we watched that, we're laughing at it, because you got all these track machines you can make. You could basically, what it looks like is the beginnings of a Rube Goldberg machine. You can have a ball roll down, hit something, knock it over, it flies through the air and lands in another thing, which sets off something else, and sorting machines, and all these cool little things.
Conveyor belts, elevators, armor racks, weapon racks. I'm most excited about the armor and weapon racks. I'm super excited about that, being able to just put stuff on display. I know that this one will be excited about it.
She's like the organization queen of Fallout.
It has
Fallout 4.
10 days worth of playtime on your main file.
Times 2.
What?
I'm pretty sure I'm up to like 19 now.
God damn!
Okay.
So there you go. She's our Fallout addict.
I mean, I thought that Far Harbor was going to kind of pull me back in. I played it for a little bit, and I think Overwatch kind of took over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Overwatch took over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
then the next trailer.
Yeah. So the second DLC that they announced comes out in July, and you can build your own vault
and experiment on your dwellers. It gets attacked. You have to defend it. And Rob's face was absolutely priceless.
I can build my own friggin' vault. It is.
It's like a kid on Christmas. It was great stuff. You should have been here. It was awesome to watch his face.
Might be what really pulls me back into Fallout. Will be being able to just make my own vault.
I think it's an interesting way to kind of tie Fallout 4 and Fallout Shelter together, because, obviously these are the 2 new Fallout games they're kind of trying to push at the same time.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a little less into it, just because I like the idea of kind of being above ground and kind of rebuilding where civilization has been destroyed. So retaking places like the castle and kind of turning it back into a place where people can live safely. So that's kind of like more my source of inspiration for building stuff in Fallout, but it's definitely an interesting idea.
Make your own vault, and so what's the experiment in this vault? Well, every single kid when they become 10 get their own Pip-Boy, and they have to murder their mother. Wait, what? Well, how do you keep going? Well, the next generation populates. It's population control. It's cruel. Players, you get to do this now. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, so that was kind of it. I don't know. The experimentation thing is kind of cool, especially if they actually have more like options for doing stuff. Like there were some crazy vaults in some of them, like where they released psychedelic drugs into the air and
watched people just like degrade into madness.
Yeah, or
like
just
that.
like ones that had no like gun control and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
became the boomers in New Vegas.
Exactly.
But I think it's funny because people are joking about how everyone was asking Bethesda, hey, why aren't there any, like, crazy vaults in Fallout 4 like there were in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas? And it's like Bethesda's just saying, fine, make your own.
Yeah. If you're so fucking smart, you build one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, their experiments were kind of tame in Fallout 4, but... so then lastly, announced for August of this year... is something that I think got leaked through DLC files on the PC at one point.
Someone tapped in and unlocked it and went, hey, what's coming out later? And they'd figured it out.
Yeah, and it's a DLC called Nuka World. So it looks like you go to a post-apocalyptic theme park themed after Nuka-Cola. They literally just show a little teaser of just kind of like the camera going over this big giant theme park. Without any type of information onto what it is, just that it's coming out in August. Whereas the other two DLCs were very clear as to what they were, as far as what they included. This one just kind of shows the theme park, shows lots of people mulling around, but that looks like it might be cool. If it's, obviously with Fallout 4 taking place in New England and Massachusetts and the Commonwealth, could be where Six Flags is supposed to be, maybe.
Canopy Lake Park.
Oh,
that would
like
be
that.
A blast. Guys, we're running around Canopy Lake Park.
Yeah, something like that. But who knows? So that was kind of the big stuff for Fallout. They did some more stuff for Fallout Shelter with like being able to send your dwellers on quests.
Oh, yeah. Expand it. You could follow them along and like help them.
Yeah.
Which I also just wanted to add. We're still all a little bit... flabbergasted they haven't done anything with Cape Cod yet.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. Because that is like the vacation destination in Massachusetts, and I keep saying it would be interesting to see a post-apocalyptic overlay of the frickin' mini golf course, the little mini golf places and ice cream shops that are all over the Cape.
Yeah.
And is this very like wealthy, pristine place to live? And just to kind of see that all destroyed by radiation and
bombs
fallout.
And everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think the last piece of Bethesda's conference that was kind of interesting, they did go over a couple quick things of they're remastering Skyrim. I guess it's cool. They are at least doing something besides just remastering it and putting it out. They're going to allow mods. Mods were brought to Fallout 4 recently, so the mods will be available for the Skyrim remaster as well. Yeah. So that's nice for people who can't afford an expensive PC and want to mess around with mods.
Very true.
They showed off a card game called Elder Scrolls Legends. I think Hearthstone's kind of put a fire under a bunch of companies' asses to make these fucking card games all of a sudden.
Very true.
Nothing's going to be Magic the Gathering ever, so I don't know why they try. And I think the last thing was they had some new content for Elder Scrolls Online that will allow you to kind of not be forced into playing the game a certain way due to like areas being too high level. Like it'll allow you to kind of scale, or like if you're playing with people who are experienced, it'll let you kind of scale in power, so you can actually play the game with them.
You can jump into a high-level raid with a bunch of high-level people and not be worried about walking in and going, hey, what's going on in this here? And getting an arrow to the dome from some powerful monster.
Yeah.
looks like I think it's a very smart move because that's the point of the open world. Is just explore where you want. Oh, you're level 60 and I'm level 2? Yeah, come on, check this place out.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's great.
Yep. And then the last thing that they showed off was Dishonored 2.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dishonored 2 was announced last year, and they showed off a lot of it. That was kind of the bulk of Bethesda's conference. They probably showed about 25 minutes of Dishonored 2 at the end of their conference. The game allows you to play as two different characters. One of them is, I think his name was Corvino, who was the main character in Dishonored 1. For people who liked the way Dishonored 1 plays, you can choose him and continue to play his style and with his supernatural powers. Or you can play as his daughter, who is a new character and has her own supernatural powers that are different. So depending on which person you choose, you actually get a different experience because they play completely different. Lastly, something interesting that they didn't show in the E3 teaser, but they mentioned in like a Q&A or something afterwards, is that if you choose to play as, I think her name is Emily, which is the female character, when you meet the character that gives you your supernatural powers, you can actually decline.
What?
And play the game as they call Flesh and Steel, where you have to complete the game without any of the supernatural powers.
As a mere mortal.
Oh, God!
And I guess there were. This kind of harkens back to there was an achievement in Dishonored 1 that you completed the entire game without using any of the without buying any of the supernatural powers except for the ability Blink, which I think is given to you during a tutorial mission. So there's no way to avoid it. But it also doesn't penalize you if you use it during the game. But that's the only ability that you can use. So I do find that interesting that there's really 3 ways to play the game. Where you can play it as the main character from the first game with his set of supernatural powers, Emily's set of supernatural powers, or as Emily without any supernatural powers.
And then on top of that, you can also play it where you can just rush in headlong and murder everyone, or you can stealth to the final target and kill just him and stealth out.
Or you can stealth kill everything and stuff like that.
Or you can just pick off the necessary guys to make it easier to get through. There seems to be 8 or 9 ways you think off the top of your head on how to play this game for combinations. So, Bethesda, you've outdone yourself, because that Flesh and Steel run sounds fucking brutal.
Yeah. Dishonored was a fun game. I didn't play a huge amount of it. I guess if you pre-order Dishonored 2, they're going to give you the Dishonored Definitive Edition on whatever platform you're playing on. So if you pre-order on Xbox One, you get it on Xbox One,
PlayStation 4,
PS4, or PC, whichever version.
You get a copy of the first game with the second one?
Yep, so the definitive edition of the first one, which includes all the DLC, slightly up-resed graphics, all that jazz.
All right.
Yeah.
But that was the first chunk of E3.
Yeah.
If you guys like anything, you want to really watch it for yourselves, draw your own conclusions, because, we're not asking you to be autonomous robots. Guys, they are right. Oh, God. The links are down below for all the trailers from E3 we're going to be posting in each video, so you can watch any one of the ones we talked about today. Of course, next video will be what's the next?
I think we're going to do Microsoft for the next one, and they had a lot of stuff, so we'll probably have a video dedicated to Microsoft, one to Sony, one to Nintendo, because they all kind of, and really Nintendo didn't show off a lot. They showed off a little bit of a lot of stuff, and then a lot of one thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But keep an eye out for those videos. They'll be dropping. What you want to keep just doing?
Yeah, probably within the weekend and early next week. We'll probably have those dropped, and we'll probably have a regular gameplay video back again next Friday.
Exactly. So stay tuned, subscribe, do your usual thing, guys. This is Infinite Combo.
Absolutely.
Until next time,
Stay infinite.